All right. So we're going to cover how to share this test with your students and how you can send this link to Google Classroom so the kids can just sign in and put their student ID. So the first part I need to do is I need to find that assessment that I want to work with and that I want to share with my students. So I'm going to go to testing. And since you've already created this test, you're going to go down to manage test. And you're going to look for your assessment. I'm going to assume that this is a test that you made. So in order for me to make sure that I give this test, I'm going to look on the left-hand side for the particular assessment, and I am going to hit manage. So I'm just going to use this one right here. And what this is going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to open up a testing window. So if I'm going to schedule this test, I'm going to click on schedule test on the screen icon right here. And I'm going to say that this is testing window 1. You can name it whatever, but I'm just going to say it's testing window 1. I'm going to say it's going to start from the 23rd and it's going to end December 14th. If this is an online test that you're giving, it's going to tell you, it's going to give you some more questions. For instance, if I want my students and parents to see the test results after I'm done with this test, I'm going to go here to show test, and this will allow the parents to see scores and responses by the student, only their student, after this date, the last day of the test. You can choose show only scores with no responses, so they don't get to see what they put down, but this is pretty much the most popular one right here where the parents get to see their actual student responses. You can read through these options here, but if you want to give this test with a testing ID, click this one. This means that kids can only give this test or take this test when you are in the room because it will give you a session ID. So if you want that, click on this option. And then you'll go down here, and all these are just the ways that kids can take the test. But you can hit save. And now you have your testing window open. So now that I've created a testing window, on the left-hand side, you're going to go to testing again, and you're going to select Administer Online Test. When you're going to administer the online test, you're going to look for your test that has the testing window open. Notice this is the one I have for testing window 1, and I'm going to select this one. When I click on Administer Test, I click OK. And this kind of gives you the direction you're going to proctor the test. Remember, this is when you want your students to take the test in front of you and you want them to put in testing ID in or a session ID. So they cannot take this test outside of your class. So when I start the session, here is the session ID that I get. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the board so my students can copy it. So now that I've written down that session ID on the board, the link that I'm going to post for my kids is going to be the EDM's website. So I'm going to copy this, go to my classroom, I'll create an assignment. I'll just say chapter 1 test, and I'll post the link here. So when my kids click on this link, they'll be taken to the EDM's website where they're going to sign in for online testing is going to be right here where it says Students Online Testing. They click on that. Now it's giving this to me because I'm outside of the network, but what shows here is going to be their session ID that you wrote on your board, and they're going to sign in with their student ID. And once they do that, they're right in the test. But that's how you would share this through Google Classroom.